Have you noticed how excited you feel when you start something new? A new goal, a new habit, a new version of yourself. At the beginning, everything feels easy. You're motivated, focused, inspired. But slowly, that excitement fades, and even things you once loved start feeling heavy. I've felt this more times than I can count. There were moments when I truly believed this time would be different. I would plan everything, visualize the outcome, feel quietly confident. And for a few days, it worked. I showed up. I stayed disciplined. I felt proud of myself. But then something subtle would happen. The energy would drop. The resistance would grow. And the same things that once felt exciting started feeling difficult to continue. The confusing part was, I still cared. I still wanted the result. I still believed in the goal. So naturally, I blamed myself. Maybe I lack discipline. Maybe I'm inconsistent. Maybe I'm the problem. And if you've ever felt this, you know how quiet that frustration can be. Because from the outside, nothing looks wrong. But internally, there's a gap between the person you want to be and the person you keep becoming. That gap is exhausting. But over time, I started noticing something. This wasn't just happening with big goals. It was happening everywhere. I could spend hours consuming content without feeling tired, but 10 minutes of focused effort felt overwhelming. And that realization was uncomfortable, because it forced me to ask a deeper question. What if this isn't motivation? What if this is dopamine? That question changed how I understood my behavior, because once you start observing yourself, you begin to notice patterns. Patterns not just in your life, but in almost everyone around you. And slowly, it becomes clear, this isn't a personality flaw. It's a dopamine environment. So today, I want to share 5 silent dopamine traps that quietly make discipline feel harder than it should. The first trap? Constant scrolling. You open your phone for a minute, and suddenly an hour disappears. Scrolling doesn't even make you happy, it just keeps you there. Every swipe carries possibility. Something funny, something interesting, something unexpected. And over time, your brain starts expecting novelty constantly. So real life begins to feel slower. Focus begins to feel uncomfortable. Silence begins to feel empty. That's the hidden cost of constant scrolling. The second trap, multitasking stimulation. Music while working, videos while eating, podcasts while walking. At first, it feels comforting, even productive. But slowly, your brain forgets how to exist in stillness. Moments that once felt peaceful start feeling empty, and boredom becomes something you avoid automatically. But boredom isn't the enemy. Boredom is where ideas appear. It's where reflection happens. It's where clarity begins. Without boredom, your mind never goes deep. And depth is where discipline lives. The third trap, reward before effort. I'll relax first, then I'll start. I'll watch one video, then I'll work. It sounds harmless, even kind to yourself. But when reward comes before effort, effort starts feeling optional. Your brain begins associating comfort with avoidance. So when it's finally time to begin, resistance appears. Not because the task is hard, but because your brain already experienced reward. And slowly, discipline starts feeling like punishment. The fourth trap, escaping boredom instantly. The moment discomfort appears, you reach for stimulation, almost automatically. And slowly, your tolerance for discomfort shrinks. You become less patient, less present, less willing to stay with effort. But growth lives inside discomfort. Learning is uncomfortable. Practicing is uncomfortable. Creating is uncomfortable. If boredom feels unbearable, effort will feel impossible. The fifth trap: confusing pleasure with satisfaction. Pleasure is quick, effortless, instant. Satisfaction is slower, earned, meaningful. You can spend an entire day entertained and still feel empty because your brain received stimulation but not fulfillment. And that emptiness creates quiet frustration. You feel tired without doing much, restless without knowing why, unfulfilled despite being constantly entertained. That's the difference between pleasure and satisfaction. And discipline lives on the side of satisfaction. But here's the hopeful part. Your brain is adaptable. Everything these habits taught your brain can be unlearned. Not through punishment, not through extreme rules, but through awareness. Because awareness creates choice. And choice creates change. When you reduce easy stimulation, something subtle begins to happen. Silence feels calmer. Focus feels lighter. Effort feels more meaningful. You begin noticing satisfaction again, not in dramatic moments, but in small ones. Finishing a task, learning something new, keeping a promise to yourself. And slowly, discipline stops feeling like force. It starts feeling like alignment. So tonight, I want to leave you with a simple question. What's your biggest source of easy dopamine? Not the thing you enjoy most, but the thing that gives you stimulation without effort. And what would happen if you stepped away from it, even for a few days? Because discipline isn't about becoming a different person. It's about creating a brain that finds meaning in effort. And once that shift happens, you don't just do hard things, you become someone who enjoys doing them.